What's up, guys? It's me, Matt, and I'm here with a special edition of Who Are They Real Talk Thursday special. Weird to say, but I'm not here alone. And joining me right now in the theater is the one and the only Chris Anthony Lopez.
Woo! Yo, Matt, I'm acting like I just haven't spent the last 4.5 hours with you.
Right?
But what, dude? I know there's y'all see the title. We're talking the Disney Investor Day. There's a lot to talk about, and we'll break that down as we go. But we have another friend, and then we'll actually talk about the meat of today.
Making his triumphant return to content on this channel is the one and the only Toby Barkwell.
Gentlemen, how are we doing tonight? I'm pretty excited.
I think we're all pretty excited.
Oh my! I'm tired.
Yes. My head hurts.
The brain's been pumping for the last 4.5 hours. And just to give a little context into what this day was, it's Disney flexing to their investors, like, oh, like this is what you got going on. And up until like a couple days ago, this was like off the radar. No one really knew what this was, you know. And then Toby, we were talking about it not too long ago, before we went live, that the New York Times broke the story of, Disney's going to drop some major stuff for Marvel and Star Wars on Thursday. And we're all like, wait, what? Like, what, on a random Thursday in December? Like, what's the point of this? And then we sit through the 4-hour panel and we see why, Yeah.
Random Thursday in December, and you're just like, okay, what we're gonna get. You read the story like, it seems like you're gonna get a lot. Let's see if that's really the case. And yeah, it definitely did not disappoint.
I mean, we've had Iger cons in the past that have dropped information, but this was something completely different because of COVID-19. There was no Comic-Con, there was no celebration. So instead of dropping.
Yeah, Brian. Hold on. Yes, Brian. It has been announced for a while. It's just nobody expected it to be this big. Well, actually, I can't say this one person, Brian Coleman, did expect it to be this big because he was telling me about it for months.
Well, good stuff, Brian. You're better than us. You knew better.
Anyway, I guess what I was saying was, like, we've had Iger cons before. We've had these types of events where they've announced a show or two for each property, but because Comic-Con, because we didn't have celebration, instead of putting these out in news releases sporadically throughout the year, they're just like, we're just going to dump them all in one 4-hour show and make us lose our collective mind.
Oh my God. So this year's just been weird with the whole convention and announcements of things. And I mean, the last week, we've seen a lot of rumors run wild on certain Marvel properties that we will not get into today on this program. But like, we saw Comic-Con at home and the disaster that was that, or DC Fandom. DC Fandom did a great job for just doing DC movies and DC content. I remember watching that event and having so much fun watching that. And it was a great live stream. It was a great show, honestly. And I thought, like, we're done, because Celebration got canceled this year and a lot of other things got canceled this year. So the whole getting of movies and movie news and movie announcements or TV shows and all that shit going forward, I thought we were done, because we knew enough. We knew enough about Star Wars. Mandalorian was holding us over. We knew enough about Marvel. Marvel is definitely holding us over. They're pushing back everything. But like, Disney had nothing to worry about, but they just thought to themselves, you know what? Like, we can tell y'all some stuff, and those things we're going to be talking about for days and weeks and months until we get all these things. But my God, what a show. What a freaking show. And I know, Toby, you didn't really get to watch at least the beginning of it, but before the creative content portion of this, it was all like, hey, ESPN and Hulu, like, it was a lot of, and they gave us stuff for FX as well. And we can touch on that before we get to the meat that we're all here ready to talk about. But they were flexing their muscles, expanding globally. Disney Plus and their other acquisitions, their other subsidiaries under Disney Plus as well, under the Disney streaming banner. Hulu, they're going to expand with more original programming, more original films from 20th Century, formerly 20th Century Fox, and Searchlight, formerly Fox Searchlight. So those are awesome. I'm glad we're keeping those studios around, and then we're putting a lot of those movies on Hulu. And then FX, they're flexing their muscles too. Renewing It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia for 4 seasons, making it a whole 18 seasons. And we're getting an Alien television series. Yes, that Alien television series. And Why the Last Man? The graphic novel's getting adapted for television as well, and those are going to FX. So what the hell? That's how you start your program? Are you kidding me? Alien and Why the Last Man? And we knew from that point forward this night was going to be nuts. It's going to be insane. It was going to be insane, and now it is.
Brian says that the stock spiked $7 after hours. I think it'll shoot to $170 a share tomorrow. I mean, I guess that's what they're aiming for.
That's what they want. I mean, that's what they're going to get. I mean, I guarantee that people are going to be clamoring to just pay $170. I wouldn't be surprised if it's more than that per stock come tomorrow. Because today you laid out the groundwork for the next, it's not even that long of a time, the next 3, 4, 5 years of Disney and their subsidiaries. So there's so much stuff. It's so much to talk about. This is insane.
And they raised it by what, $1? Is that correct? They raised Disney Plus?
Only
$1.
$1.
It was funny because we were with our boy Colin Morris before this, watching all this, and he was like, right after the presentation, I'm like, they're raising the price. He's like, no, they're not. And we're sitting there, like, oh shit, I think Matt's right. And then he's like, you were right by $1. I did the founders deal last summer, so I'm locked in for the first. Well, I got 2 years left on it, so the $1 ain't gonna bug me.
Like, how dare they bump it up $1?
And if
unsub,
they bump it up $1, you're
unsubscribe.
that's one less McDonald's sweet tea a month for me. I think I can manage that.
Yeah.
Oh my god! But I mean, we're here just we're wasting time. We know what we're here to talk about because the creative portion started at around 4:30 my time in Central Standard Time, 5:30 Matt and Toby's time. But they started hot. They started with Lucasfilm, and I know my boy Matt's wearing his Lucasfilm limited production T-shirt.
Yep,
I need one of those.
Star Wars. I'll send you the link. It's from Star Wars Celebration. Their store is live right now.
So oh my god! So they started hot, right? And I mean, I was live tweeting this whole event not only so I can tell my followers what's up, so that everyone's informed, but for my own mental, just so I can keep track of what's going on, because I would have forgotten freaking everything. But I mean, the first thing that they showed us was a recap of The Mandalorian of the last few episodes, and okay, like that's great, just in case you missed the season of The Mandalorian, this is what you're missing. And they gave us, a sizzle reel of Boba Fett and Ahsoka. Spoiler alert if you're not caught up with Mando. But then the damn spinoffs. Kathleen Kennedy, with the greatest of ease, said, yep, we have 2 spin-off series coming. One of them being Rangers of the New Republic. And the other one being Ahsoka. And collectively, as a fandom, we all just melted. And this is in the first 5 minutes of the damn Lucasfilm portion. Now, I've been talking with Matt this whole time about this stuff, but Toby, I want your 2 cents. Because you said you just got off of work when you found out. At least you told me before we started going live that you found out when you got off of work. And please dump it, all of it.
I left work around 5:45, knowing that the Lucasfilm panel was starting. But I was like, I got to get home because I know that I'm about to find out some crazy stuff here soon. And I was like trying my best not to look at my phone while I'm driving because that's really unsafe.
It's unsafe.
But
How dare you?
every stoplight, I would immediately just refresh Twitter, just to see what the first thing would say. And I get to the first stoplight and I refresh Twitter, and the first thing I see is the logo, and I was like, "No, what? Like they're gonna do that first? Really? Like I thought that was gonna be like the big one at the end or something."
Mm-hmm.
But that's the first one I see, and like I don't even have time to read any of the reactions or the description or anything because I'm driving. So I was like, man, like that's crazy. What a first bit of information. Then the next stoplight I get to is the Bad Batch trailer, and I was like, what?
No.
Come on, because like the Bad Batch is. I mean, if you look at my my name there, like the Bad Batch and the Clone Wars, like that's my shit. Like I love the Clone Wars so much, and we've been waiting on a trailer for a while because we know we're getting the show probably February, March, I guess. And we finally get a trailer, and of course I can't watch it because I'm driving. So I get home and I immediately park and immediately pull up the trailer, and I watch the Bad Batch trailer. And oh my god, it looks so good. Like it, because we knew that they were gonna have the best animation possible after season 7, the Clone Wars, because it looked just immaculate. But it looked even better in the trailer. Like they even put more money into the show, I think. And we have the Bad Batch going up against clone grunts. We have Tarkin. We have Ming-Na Wen's character.
Sean.
Like just so much goodness in just like a minute 30 trailer. Oh my god, I can't wait for that show. And then it just didn't stop. And then I saw the New Republic Rangers thing, which is probably my least favorite announcement out of all of the Star Wars stuff, to be honest, because I have a feeling it's going to be like a Cara Dune-centric show, which, I mean, she's a cool character. I just don't know if she can run her own show. But, I mean, we'll see. And then the big one, which is my favorite announcement of the entire day, and that's Hayden Christensen coming back to play Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader. I have no idea how they're going to do it. I'm thinking flashbacks is going to be the majority of his role. Matt's shaking his head. But if we see Hayden Christensen in Clone Wars armor with young Ahsoka and Captain Rex, maybe, I will. That's it. I'm dead. There will be no more Toby on this earth, because that's the dream, to see Clone Wars live action. And what am I missing? I know I'm missing a bunch of other things.
Well, before let's not get too far. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves.
We got a ton to cover still, but no. The reason I'll disagree with you is because Christian Harloff put it perfectly a long time ago on Collider Jedi Council, back when that was still around, and he said with this show, what you need to do is you need to show a showdown between Vader and Obi-Wan, one last one, because there's a key line in that first fight. The last time I saw you, I was about to learn it was a line to Luke. Obi-Wan once thought as you did. In Revenge of the Sith, we never see Obi-Wan believing there was good in Anakin once he sees that from that point on. So this is that chance that Obi-Wan sees that he could possibly turn Anakin and just take one last shot at it and try to redeem him. And then
I'm 100% with you, but how are they going to have Hayden Christensen do that? Are they going to put him in the suit? Yeah, they're not going to have Hayden voice Vader. They're going to have
they're not going to have
James
voice
Earl
Vader,
Jones or somebody. That's what I mean. Like, how are they going to? Okay, but they're not going to show Hayden in the suit. That doesn't make sense. Like, I'm assuming they'd have a big guy to play Vader and have Hayden do. That's what I mean. I don't know.
Hayden. Well, Hayden's 6'4" 1. 2.
Is he?
Yeah.
Damn.
2, where it's Vader on the ship, same thing, helmet off, and back to tank, get used like an Empire, helmets off, the repairs or whatever done, things like that, where we can see that Vader's aged a little bit, the burns are more scars now, things like that. I think that's the way that they pull it off with Hayden. And then they still let him be in the suit. Because I remember the Becoming Darth Vader featurette that came with the original trilogy on DVD before Revenge of the Sith came out. He was adamant that he wanted to be the one in that suit because he felt like he earned it.
Mm-hmm. Do you think we'll see him in the flashback, though?
Maybe 1 or 2. I'm wondering if they just use scenes from Revenge of the Sith. That might be the flashback.
No, I don't like that.
I don't
like that.
I say this because
they're going to remaster him?
Well, they were remastered to 4K, but I say this because you'd have to, unless they're planning on syncing de-aging technology into it. And granted, it's going to be easier to de-age him than anyone else. I met him at Celebration last year. You can tell he's aged.
Sure, so. I'm totally expecting a Mandalorian season 1 Pedro Pascal approach, where we will see Hayden Christensen in the Darth Vader get up. Yeah, we will. Not all the time. He like it would be like Pedro Pascal, where we all thought he was under the suit the entire time, and he was like, "Yeah, no," like there were other people involved, and that's totally going to be the case. I'd be surprised if they didn't do flashbacks of any kind. I would be shocked if they didn't. Like it would just make sense to add more context to like 10 years have gone by. This series takes place 10 years after Revenge of the Sith, and it's billed as the rematch of the century. So we will see them fight at some point, but like let's add more context into like there's a lot of shit we didn't see, or even I know the Clone Wars really patched that up, especially as the series progressed, but there's still I know you can do a little something for me. I would love to see shit between Obi-Wan and Anakin before he fully went off the deep end, and it would make sense. I'm not asking for like shout out to all my CW fans, like the Arrow first 5 seasons where they constantly flash back halfway through the episode. It's like, no, I don't want that. That's not what I'm talking about. Just give me a couple flashbacks to add context to maybe how Obi-Wan currently feels, or if there are other characters that we're getting introduced to, or that other characters from other Star Wars lore that we're getting introduced to. So, I mean, that Hayden Christensen news did rock my world, but was it expected? We wanted it, and we've been talking about it for months now, maybe even years. But still cool as hell to hear it from Kathleen Kennedy's mouth. Oh, like it's just as cool as when we found out Ewan McGregor was going to come back as Obi-Wan Kenobi. I got the same vibe. I got excited again, similar to that feeling at D23 last year, or whenever the hell it got announced. So, oh my god! And just to touch on the other two, Ahsoka, yes please, give me some more.
Well, here, and you heard me talk about it with Colin while we were watching with him. Something people need to pay attention to when we got that Ahsoka art for the announcement. What's behind her?
The world between worlds.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And for those people who don't know what the world between worlds is, start watching Rebels.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like Mandalorian has become the show where you can't, and now Ahsoka, and now freaking Rangers of the New Republic. Y'all, if you want to keep up, you gotta watch everything. If you want to keep up, if you want to know what's really going on, you gotta watch everything else. Which I mean, that's what was expected. I just thought Mandalorian would be a change of pace, but now it's not, especially with Ahsoka. And if they're going to touch on the Ezra Bridger stuff, like that's a whole different.
And leading up to a big event,
exactly. Well, which is probably Ezra.
That's what I was going to ask. Is the Ahsoka show going to be the Rebel sequel that we've been waiting for the last 4 or 5 years?
So, because remember, after that Ahsoka episode aired, Filoni was like, this may be before when we last see Ahsoka in Rebels, which is...
See, I don't think he knows yet.
I think he does, and he was just playing coy because he knew this announcement was coming out.
Yeah, that's true.
That makes the most sense to me. Because...
And they did it... Sorry.
It's like, I'm going to play coy because I know we're about to announce this show in like a few weeks, so... Okay. But that's just.
But they did say the Ahsoka show was a limited series, and I think they said the New Republic show would be a limited series too.
They also said the Mandalorian was going to be a limited series, yet we're confirmed for season 3
next year, baby.
That's true. December next year, so it's going to be a little later of a wait than last.
That's fine. I'll wait.
I got no.
That's just how good the show is. Like, and that's why I low-key am so excited, because obviously I'm not waist deep into Star Wars like how y'all are. I'm like halfway up the shin, but how I look at these shows, like not only is it reinvigorating my love for Star Wars that I was slowly losing over the sequel trilogy, not because of the quality of the movie, because the fandom just got
rough.
But Mandalorian reignited that love for Star Wars that a lot of people halfway lost, or they did lose during the sequel trilogy conversations and hype, or then when people were shitting on them or whatever. Mandalorian brought that back, especially this season. This season of The Mandalorian has been stellar. And I love the show so much. And the quality of the show gets me amped to see Rangers of the New Republic, to see the Ahsoka TV show, really to see any of these other all these other shows that Disney Plus is pumping out, aside from Star Wars. But just Mandalorian not only changed the tide for the hype for Star Wars again, it brought that back, but it set the standard for the quality of these shows going forward. And like it's bigger than Star Wars, but just stay within the realm of Star Wars for a second. Ahsoka's gonna be the shit, especially if it is that sequel to Rebels. Yet, have I seen Rebels entirely? No, but I know enough about it to still get somewhat excited for it. And this Rangers of the New Republic, like what Toby said, I'm totally expecting Cara Dune, or maybe
I'm thinking it's going to be that character we've been introduced to this season. I think it's going to be him and Dave Filoni's character, actually, the two pilots.
Yeah, hell yeah. And if that's the case, then great. But Mando, who would have thought? Who would have thunk it? Like, Mando would be like, bless you, would be pumping out all these sequels, and they're all going to come back together for one big event, which I'm assuming is a feature. At least it will be feature length. Like, it may not be a movie per se, but it's going to be one, either, it won't be a series, it'll be one long-ass movie. But that's just a little bit of the stuff we got from Lucasfilm. We're getting other series as well, whether they're coming now or later, and they're touching on different parts of the Star Wars universe, and they're using different styles. Like that Star Wars Vision show it's like anime, right? Mm-hmm. It's a Japanese style of animation.
Yep.
And that's so like it's unorthodox. And I know I'm forgetting the show that was on Disney XD, the Star Wars show.
Resistance.
It wasn't Rebels. What was it?
Resistance.
Resistance. Thank you. Like that different style of animation.
That was the kids show.
But this different style of animation is what I'm getting at with that show. Like you're using, like, it's not just what the hell we're used to for the last 50 years, right, of Star Wars, but it's just like we're expanding, and we're not just sticking to Skywalker stuff, because technically, like, we're still rocking with that same storyline, and we're slowly bridging off from it. And they're like the Acolyte series going back to the High Republic.
Oh yeah, the fall of the High Republic. That's what it was, and I'm just like, oh heck yeah.
I love how they're teasing the fall of the High Republic, and we haven't even been introduced to the High Republic yet, because the first novel doesn't come out till January, which I'm really, really hyped to read.
In their defense, we were supposed to already have that first novel.
That is true. Yeah, they pushed it back, but that was the big shocker to me. Like, out of yes, there was a lot of shockers for the Star Wars announcements at least, but to get something, this is gonna be like a Sith show. Like, that's the vibe I'm getting.
It's a dark side show.
And it's like teased as like a mystery thriller in the Star Wars universe. Are you kidding me? Like, this is gonna be so different, and I'm so here for it.
And I there's a lot we want to talk about, and I know we all only have so much time tonight, so I don't want to plow through certain things, but I'm gonna just mention the other Star Wars guys or other Star Wars pieces, and you guys can give your 2 cents on them if you guys are cool with that.
There is one large Star Wars piece we gotta cover real quick.
No, please.
That is the Patty Jenkins Rogue Squadron film. The first female director in a Star Wars film. It's just, and especially you got a high profile one like that. It's incredible.
The $10 million woman, Patty Jenkins, she is, it shocked the hell out of me, because they were hyping up Taika Waititi's different, and oh my God, when I mean different, I mean different Star Wars movie that he's going to make.
Like, what?
You saw the logo, and it was like, am I tripping right now? Am I on an acid trip? Because that's what his movie's going to be like.
It looked like the art from the Boba Fett section of the holiday special, which you guys will see in about a week and a half.
But Toby, did you see what Patty Jenkins put on Twitter?
The only thing I watched was that video, if that's what you're referring
to. The video she put out. Talking about her dad.
I saw that when I got home, and I thought it was really, really cool that she has a direct connection to, fighter pilots, because that's what her dad was. And she talked about how, she's been wanting to make a fighter pilot movie her whole career. She just did not see the right opportunity. And what a better opportunity to do fighter pilots than the freaking X-Wings in a Rogue Squadron movie. They weren't super clear on when this is going to take place. I'm assuming it's after the Rise of Skywalker, because the X-Wing that is in the logo is a newer style of an X-Wing. And it also said in the description that it was going to be the future. I know future was used in that description. So I'm thinking it will be, beyond what we saw in the Rise of Skywalker. I don't think we'll see any of those characters at all. I think this will just be like maybe the New Republic's X-Wings fighting off maybe remnants of the First Order. I'm not exactly sure, but Patty Jenkins, Star Wars 2023, which is a little ways away, but I'm cool with it. We're going to have a lot of content to dive into in the meantime. And I'm also glad it's not going to be like a Jedi movie or a Sith movie or something super duper like, Force related deep, like something fun, like, fighter pilots and X-Wings and maybe TIE fighters. That's got me excited.
Like it's Patty Jenkins. She's one of the probably one of the most sought after directors. And Star Wars, what they've done a good job of, regardless of what you think of the movies, is they like to diversify their directors. Like they're not just getting the same person, unless you're J.J. Abrams, to come in and do these movies, or even work on the TV shows. They have a plethora of different directors that have a plethora of different styles, and especially in season 2 Mandalorian, which everyone should be watching, like you see that. But Patty Jenkins, Christmas 2023, yes, please give me some more. But some other quick things from the Lucasfilm portion, because it wasn't just Star Wars, it was Lucasfilm. The Cassian Andor series, it's just called Andor. We got a cast for it, a whole cast. The most notable in my eyes, Stellan Skarsgård. What the hell? Yeah. Yes, please, though. I'm so excited for the series. It's a prequel to Rogue One. That's pretty dope. Lando. We're getting a Lando limited series. They emphasize the limited portion. And we don't know exactly who will be playing Lando, whether it's Billy D. Williams or Donald Glover. But we're excited nonetheless. And, I mean, if it's a hybrid of the two, please. I mean, I'll take that. They're doing they're doing Star Wars a droid story where they're going to introduce us to a new droid and compare and put them with R2D2 and C3PO, and that's going to be I don't know if they mentioned if it was animated or live action. Probably animated.
Live action.
Is it live action?
They're like to build these. I'm pretty sure it's live action.
Because I would have thought this was more geared towards children, especially seeing the logo. But I mean, screw me, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Hey, we got that Gonk droid movie. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, they like this Lucasfilm panel. They gave us an update on Indiana Jones 5. That we should expect the final installment of Indiana Jones. Thank you that we got confirmation. This is it. July 2022.
No one other than Harrison Ford will ever.
No one other than Harrison Ford. So Indiana Jones, Lucasfilm, 2022. They've touched on other new projects they have going on. Willow, they talked about Willow a little bit.
Children of the Bone.
Children of the what's it called? Children of the Bone.
Children of the Bone.
Children of the Bone. Another book adaptation that they're going to do for Lucasfilm. Either way, it's
Blood and Bone.
Thank you. Either way, it's been half an hour, and we've only talked about Lucasfilm. So moving on, Lucasfilm had a kick-ass portion of the panel, and they started this whole creative content portion hot. But it ended with Patty Jenkins. But moving on to Disney's proper, and I know if I know anything about Toby, he's not the biggest Disney fanatic, at least as much as Matt and I. But they were definitely touching on new series. They gave us a trailer for the Mighty Ducks Game Changers. We're getting more ducks. Quack, quack, quack. Shout out. Emilio Estevez is back. Lauren Graham's going to be in the series too. And like, it just looks fun. It looks like just 2020 Mighty Ducks. It has the same spirit of it. Yep. Did you guys like Mighty Ducks?
I loved Mighty Ducks growing up. So I
actually like hockey.
I did not grow up with Mighty Ducks, so this one I don't particularly care about. I mean, it's cool that they're bringing it back, but I don't have a direct connection to the show at all.
Word. But they were touching on new series. We're getting a lot of TV series for Disney Plus, and they knocked out a couple in a row. I'm gonna mention
understatement of the night.
Exactly. They're doing a Beauty and the Beast prequel series titled Beauty and the Beast: The Prequel Series that'll focus on Gaston and LeFou, bringing back Luke Evans and Josh Gad from the live action remake, that I thoroughly enjoyed. They're doing Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief,
which I got hyped for.
I think a lot of us did. And then at the same time, they announced the Mysterious Benedict Society, and they showed us a trailer for the Mysterious Benedict Society. But out of the three of those guys, did y'all have a preference for which one you were amped for? We did get to see a couple of these.
Well, hold on. I think there's another question, another person you have to ask this question, and that is the man himself making his second appearance on the Who Are They Real Entertainment Network, Colin Morris.
Colin Morris. What's going on, Colin? You good?
Still alive? Everybody still breathing?
You damn right. I mean, I'm trying. I think I am.
Was
but
the
no, I'm
shock
posing
too much?
I'm posing the question to everybody, or at least before we do that, Colin, in 5 words, describe the Lucasfilm portion of the panel or of the stream.
No, that's one.
You just thought of one word. That's all you got.
It's just blown away on an epic scale. That's 6 words. Fuck.
Okay, I'll take it. But out of the 3 shows that they announced back to back to back, so it's the Beauty and the Beast prequel series, Percy Jackson, the Lightning Thief, and the Mysterious Benedict Society. Do you guys have a preference in which one you were more excited about, or one that you saw and you're like, yo, that looks pretty freaking good?
Percy Jackson, that goes without saying for me. That was after Harry Potter, that was my Harry Potter. So yeah.
It's gotta be Percy Jackson.
Yeah. Percy Jackson, they didn't show us anything. They didn't even show they didn't really show anything at all, even to the higher up people that we kept getting our presentation paused for. They didn't show anything. Toby, same question to you.
Percy Jackson. I read those books in junior high. I don't think I read all of them. I think I read 4 or 5 of them, maybe. I don't
There's
remember
only 5
how many
of them,
there are
so you
anymore.
might have read all of them.
Maybe I did. I don't remember. That was a long time ago. But I'm interested to see what they're going to do with that show, because maybe I'm in the minority, but I actually liked the first Percy Jackson movie. I thought it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like the second one more than the first.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Anyway, I'm actually intrigued to see what that shows.
So, is there any excitement for Beauty and the Beast, the prequel series, or is it just me?
I mean,
No.
I love Luke Evans. I like Josh Gad. I could do without this series. Because
I mean, this doesn't need to exist.
Well, here's the thing: if you're calling it Beauty and the Beast, the prequel series, why are you focusing on LeFou and Gaston? That's
because I don't want to see Belle read books for 6 hours.
No,
like
you can focus on the Beast and all the different characters.
I don't want to see the Beast mope around and abuse the plates for 6 hours. So what I'm saying with Beauty and the Beast, I mean, yes, I'm excited for Percy Jackson and the Mysterious Benedict Society. They actually showed us a trailer for that, and it looks fun. You got Tony Hale playing dual roles. What else can you expect? But I dig this prequel series. I love the remake. Like, I love the remake so much. If Aladdin didn't come out last year, I would have thought, like, yo, like Beauty and the Beast, that's the best one that I've seen. Because granted, yeah, is it shot for shot the same thing? Sure. But I really dug how it panned out. Even Emma Watson's auto-tune singing. But the series looks fun. It sounds fun. It's Gaston and LeFou before all the crazy stuff happened with beasts and plates that talk to you. And I don't know. It's limited. I just hope it stays limited. And I really hope they mention it was limited. But let's keep it that way. Like, I like Percy Jackson. Mysterious Benedict Society looks cute. I'll say that. And Beauty and the Beast, that's my jam. That's the damn jam. But immediately after that, they announced Hocus Pocus 2 that'll be on Disney Plus, and again another Disney Plus original, 3 Men and a Baby that'll have Zac Efron, which I think we've known for a little bit now that it will have Zac Efron.
Yeah, you're gonna get dad bod Zach. I know women are clamoring to see that.
Is he he's gonna have dad bod?
You haven't seen Zac Efron nowadays?
No.
Dude got like muscular thick. Like, he's not skinny muscular.
I know. Like my man's like, I thought he was chill. Is he now Baywatch Zac Efron anymore?
No, he's not Baywatch Zac Efron anymore.
Oh, damn.
Dude is like lumberjack, normal looking ripped guy. And so,
I'm gonna have to freaking start Googling Zac Efron more than I already do.
He looks a lot more like me.
Yeah, he looks like Colin.
Are you built like Zac Efron?
I am kind of built more like Zac Efron now. I kind of got this we got nice, like, thick thighs, you know. We got these nice legs going on down here. It's not what it used to be back in the day, you know. Me and him, we could go toe to toe in a bath in Norway. You know, he did that salt bath thing in Norway where he was doing that. That Netflix show of his was pretty lit, and it kind of re-exposed himself. I know, like, I know my exposed himself in more ways than one. But I know like my dad was like, "Oh, remember that High School Musical guy?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "We watched his Netflix show about science," and I was like, "Oh, cool." So he's like, he's back in the pulse, so it's good to see him. And 3 Minute a Baby is something that everybody over the age of at least, I would probably say 35, it was part of their childhood or their kids watching. So I mean, it's got the IP. You call that a dad bod?
That's a dad bod?
Compared to what he used to have.
What
He's
the
swole.
hell? I have a dad bod. Jesus. Like,
I said in between a dad bod and muscles.
he's still jacked. He's still hot. I'm not gonna have this conversation. But moving on, there was they also just went crazy with their other announcements. We're getting biopics. At least I'm assuming they're biopics or like documentaries about Giannis Antetokounmpo and Chris Paul.
Biopics.
So they're movies.
They're movies.
About these, they're biopics about these two men, these two basketball players. Granted, they have great backstories, but like
I'm more interested in the
different.
Giannis one than I am the Chris Paul one. If I'm gonna be honest,
I'm interested in how they pull off the Giannis one.
Yeah,
Like how do you find someone who can
be,
look and move and act like one of the most unique human beings that's ever walked the face of the earth?
Because apparently this, from what I read when the movie was first like rumored a few weeks or a month or so ago, is that they're looking for Giannis at different ages.
Right.
So,
but I usually dislike that approach because especially when it's something like the story's still being written. It's like, no offense to the people that are making this movie, the story isn't over yet. Like, it's like Game of Thrones. You guys are writing this in the story. You guys are finishing a show that the books aren't even finished with. Like, this guy's story isn't done yet. He hadn't even. No offense to the dude. The two people that they announced movies about today have never won NBA titles. They're not champions. They have interesting stories, but hey, let's talk about a Pascal Siakam maybe. Let's talk, get somebody in there. It's just very strange that Disney seemed to go on this path of kind of really doubling down on it too. I mean, it was an interesting call.
I mean, hey, it sounds like Universal's going to get the LeBron James biopic based on Shooting Stars, written by LeBron and Buzz Bissinger. But I mean, to be honest, is there realistically any of NBA stars with interesting stories like that? Like
the Gasol brothers?
The Gasol brothers, maybe, yeah. But other than the Gasol brothers, like Giannis probably has one of the more interesting stories because grew up poor in Greece, became this young phenom in Greece at a young age, was the mystery man going into the draft, and then he's now arguably one of the top 2 players in the league.
I just hope that I need then 75% of the movie has to be before he got drafted.
And I agree completely.
75 to 80% of the movie, tell me what I don't know, and then top it off with a cherry on top where you can then work in. Like, do you really want to watch somebody act as Giannis at the NBA draft? Like, do you really want to reenact that? Like, I feel like that's really strange.
The NBA draft. I think you end it at the NBA draft.
I second that notion. You should you should not see him play a lick of basketball
would just be
professionally.
Really weird. End it with like some basketball stuff.
You
like
would
right
have
at the end, but like
professionally, Chris, because he was playing professionally at the age of 16, 17. So you'd have to
see
in the
NBA.
Yeah, you don't want to see
right.
In the
You'll
NBA
see that part in Greece, which for the average human being will be the most they ever saw him play in Greece, and it'll be somebody else playing him.
Yeah,
I personally would just rather have just documentaries of these players instead of doing a biopic. Like after watching The Last Dance, like I just want a Last Dance every like superstar that ever existed. I've
already done the Warriors
series so much.
It's like I've already want to make the Warriors one. Matt's gonna make the Cavs one. Like we're like, just hire us. There's so many different stories. It just feels so weird to dramatize it. Like, what is it? This seems like Lifetime. Like if ESPN had a Lifetime division, this seems like what this should be on. It just doesn't feel like what we need to be investing in right now. It was the weirdest part of them.
I mean, Toby would make the TJ Warren bubble story. So hey.
Oh my god.
Hey, I'm down for that. I'm down for that. No, I want a
No, it's not. No. It's Lou Williams at Magic City.
See, but Toby's a Pacers fan. That's why I went with that.
Oh well, T.J. Warren, he went to Clemson, so he can kick rocks.
And low key, like Toby mentioned, The Last Dance.
Oh, he's NC State. He's NC State. That's the other who's the Clemson guy that's in the league who I can't stand. It's somebody else.
And Toby mentioned The Last Dance, and like you would think that like ESPN Plus is now the home for 30 for 30. Like that's already a docuseries that documents legitimately everything that sports has ever done. But and I second Colin's notion. Do we need to drama like I don't. Do I need to see feature films about these people? I would just like these stories told from honestly their perspective. I don't need someone else writing a script about their lives. Let's just interview them like how they did Jordan, right? Like
I'd be curious. Have y'all seen the Nirvana documentary that was on HBO? It came out about 7 or 8 years ago.
What's it called?
I can't remember the name, but the style of it was so beautiful, and it of course talked to whoever's alive from around the band, and the way they talked about Kurt going through his life, they did it through animation, like hand-drawn, beautiful animation. And that's the kind of stuff I think would be a beautiful, a new age of a new wave of documentaries. Because if this is really what you want, like, I'm not going to watch the show about the Clemson safety. I read about it in the newspaper. I already know the story. I don't need some football porn in that sense. But the same with these basketball movies. Like, it's the same thing. Like if you know the story, you know the story. If you don't know the story, it's just going to introduce you. Like, the best thing this is going to do for Giannis is more people are going to know who he is. Because honestly, a lot of people don't know who he is. He's not very marketable. They've tried. His shoes don't sell out. They try. They do strange.
Coming to America ones were
the Coming to America shoes was a real stretch. They're doing all they can, and if the movie is like the extent of like what are you doing, man? Like there's no Michael Jordan movie. They took him years, and it was a dang documentary, and it was sort of about him. And it was about him. It was about being around him. It's weird. It's just not big enough to make a movie. This is like giving Hawkeye his own movie.
Yeah, just give him a docuseries like
yeah,
Hawkeye,
well, right. Just give him a series. Just like a whole full-fledged movie. It's just a strange call.
But after the little sports division they got at Disney, right? They moved on to a lot of family-friendly content. They talked about this new Disney Plus original that they already shot. It's coming out in March, I believe. It's called Flora and Ulysses, about this girl who's obsessed with comic books. And she has a superhero squirrel as a sidekick.
Yep.
That's gonna be cute and fun. I probably will check that out. But they also doubled down on the remakes and unnecessary remakes. Cheaper by the Dozen. It's gonna come out, but with a mixed family.
Gabrielle Union. I don't think they announced the dad, but they said Gabrielle Union's playing the mom.
Jason Sudeikis.
Oh god.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I mean, Cheaper by the Dozen. Okay, great. They doubled down on Diary of a Wimpy Kid, but it's animated this time, as it should have been from the beginning. Instead of those live action movies we got forever ago, we're getting an animated Night at the Museum. Sean Levy's coming back. That's gonna be cool.
As producer, not as director. Though.
He won't be directing it, but that's gonna be awesome. R.I.P. Robin Williams. We miss him dearly. And we're getting more Ice Age, more spin-off Ice Age series. Ice Age makes money, I guess. Simon Pegg's coming back to play his character Buck from the series, but the other two they didn't announce casts for them.
And I know one of those was Josh Peck. I just can't remember who the other.
Yeah, that's Turner, 1000%. But to move on, we started getting
Ducks, right when they did the Mighty Ducks as well.
Yeah, we already covered Mighty Ducks.
No, please go ahead. Did you have something to say about Mighty Ducks?
Oh, I'm just excited that it's a good little flip on the tail. I like because Mighty Ducks is kind of my original trilogy. I love the Mighty Ducks. I got all of them on VHS. Quack Attack is back. Yes, ducks fly together. We got to do this thing, and it's kind of. I hope it's an interesting take on the current situation of like travel ball teams. My brother does travel lacrosse. A lot of kids around me growing up did travel baseball, and it seems that this has kind of been kind of a sore spot on youth sports in America. And Mighty Ducks kind of shined an early light on it with the Hawks, the original team from the franchise. So it's interesting that now they're the bad guys. So it's a nice dichotomy of, trying to take a different swing at it. I'm just interested in how do you end the show, right? Like it's more of what my brain's been having a harder time figuring out is what do you do? Like, do you then merge everybody onto the team? Is everybody on the Ducks now? Does Gordon Bombay come back at the end of it? Right? Is he the coach? Is it like all of them? Then do they go do the Junior Goodwill Games again in the second season? And it's like the Olympics again, because next year would be the Olympics. Disney's not dumb. Every time
they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. And the trailer actually looked like a lot of fun. Yeah. Like, as someone who didn't necessarily grow up with Mighty Ducks, like this might be something worth checking out. And after all the family-friendly things, at least in regards to television, they put a spotlight on their films, on their upcoming feature films, starting with Jungle Cruise. They told us that two of the biggest movie stars, contrary to Matt Thomas's belief, Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt, they are leading Jungle Cruise and will come out in July, I believe. Little Mermaid, put another spotlight on that, and the whole cast. I cannot wait for Little Mermaid. Oh my god. I mean, I'm all for.
I still didn't see a Prince Eric in that cast list stuff. I remember
they released something on social media, and they have a Prince Eric. It's just not. They didn't make note of him during the presentation, which is kind of weird because it's Prince Eric, but hey, it is what it is. The Lion King prequel with Barry Jenkins, they didn't give us too much information on that. They just told us that, hey, it's a halfway prequel talking about this world a little bit more, and Barry Jenkins is going to direct it. I still don't want this movie.
Hold on. You're leaving out a key part about that. The music will be done by Hans Zimmer, Pharrell Williams. Yeah,
put the emphasis on the right syllable there, homeboy.
Yeah.
Real feral cat.
Yeah. And Nicholas Britell, who won an Oscar for what was that? Next, If Beale Street Could Talk.
There you go.
And I mean,
I know you could do it. I know you could pull it. I wasn't gonna do it for you.
And I mean, that's awesome that the music's gonna be done. Like Hans Zimmer and Pharrell, they've worked on stuff before. But that does not change my lack of excitement for this movie. It's great that Disney's putting so much effort behind it. Do we need more Mufasa? Little did I know we did, apparently. And it was just weird. And then and I feel bad for this movie because to me, all the hype was taken before this movie was talked about because we're getting a damn Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. They announced the cast, a live action hybrid. They told us John Mulaney and Andy Samberg are voicing Chip and
Disney
Dale respectively.
Character breakfasts are never going to be the same again because Chip and Dale, for all the years I've gone to Disney World, are at every one of them things. Mickey sometimes doesn't show up. It's sometimes a letdown. But you know who's always there? Chip and Dale. Always there, ready to hang out and have a good time. You get a picture with both of them. And now that it's John Mulaney coming in to do some stuff, that's going to be
John Mulaney getting his Disney bag.
Oh, my God. He's taking the big mouth bag, and he's getting a big old bag from Disney, all right? He's bringing on that money.
Andy Samberg getting his Disney bag. I saw this thing on Twitter. I don't know who the hell reported it or who said it because it was not mentioned in the thing. But someone was saying that Seth Rogen is going to be in this movie too. Is going to be in this movie too, which is nuts.
Oh, he could be. He would have to be. The human. I can't remember his name. It was one of the trivia questions when we were watching it. It was one of the answers when they were talking about Chip and Dale. I can't remember his name.
Either way,
did you guys play the game? Did you play the game on Game Boy?
Nope.
The Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers game on Game Boy that slapped. That was like almost like you were like flying around a plane. It was pretty sick. I was blown away. How are they bringing this back? How are they doing this?
They're successfully reviving Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers after over 20 years because they were on the Disney Afternoon all the time in the 90s, and now bang, they're going the Tom and Jerry route. they're doing the live action animation or CGI hybrid, and this is gonna rule. It's gonna rock. It's
Yogi Bear's like I told you so.
Like Colin and I, when we were watching this damn thing, we jumped out of our seat. And they showed us the logo. The logo's hot. Like, yo, Akeem Schaefer's directing it. You already know Jorma Tacone's going to be in this thing. It's a Lonely Island feature. Come on. Give me some more of that. That's why, like, that took all the hype. And then Lion King was like, we're going to do more. I'm like, yeah, I don't care. Give me Chippendale Rescue Rangers. That's what I care about. That's where the money's at, baby. $1 billion opening weekend. But
can I defend Lion King for a second?
Yeah. Oh, please.
Because I feel like you're mean to Lion King. I don't know why. Because we know that you're mean. We know that the live action was a shot remake. We know.
But it was not good.
But it looked like, come on. Like, it took what they did in Jungle Book times 1,000. Like, it looked visually amazing. The music was great. The cast was great.
It was all right. Yeah.
And I'm so glad we're not doing a continuation. I think the idea of Mufasa backstory about why him and Scar hate each other, or at least why Scar hates Mufasa, I think that's super duper interesting. And the team that's behind it is so talented. And I'm very excited to see what they can do, because it's going to be a brand new story. We're not going to know what to expect going into it, and we're still going to get the amazing visual effects that we got in the first one. So I'm actually more excited for that than anything else that we talked about thus far for the Disney side.
See, you say that it's not a continuation, but at the same time, is it still a continuation?
No,
because
no, it's a prequel.
It's a prequel.
Oh, I'm sorry. So we're gonna add to the story. Like I'm sorry, we're just not going forward. We're going backward.
You don't really know why. I can step myself back a couple steps. You don't really know why Scar's like a piece of shit. Like you don't really know the answer to that question. Like,
but
I mean, it's kind of like knowing. It's kind of like just
don't say yes. We needed to know. We weren't saying that in '94. Don't say that.
Like we saw like 3 books of Professor Snape, and then you never got to the Half-Blood Prince and the Deathly Hallows and learned like why he kind of was.
Did we just compare Snape to Scar?
I kind of did.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Oh my god. No one was saying this in '94. Where were y'all at? Where
Harry Potter started.
I wasn't alive yet.
But what I'm saying is like, am I gonna see this shit? Of course I'm gonna see this shit. But it's like,
I don't know why we have to spend like half a bill on it. Like, I feel like it's gonna cost them half. Like, I just don't know why this is like.
We don't.
I understand that it's in. I get that it's
Lion King. It's Lion King.
Right. It's like, but like. I don't I guess that Disney is the one who made these stories IP. Like, when did we ever think of Lion King as anything other than the first movie,
everything you see,
the really
like,
shitty second movie, and then Lion King 1.5, which I kind of agree with, is kind of slapping at points. Like, there's some really good songs in Lion King 1.5. But then the show, I think, I guess the show was turning good numbers, because this is the thing, when I listen to like all the stuff at the end of it, when they're talking about money and all the stuff, they had to have numbers where like the Lion King show with kids like had an uptick in views.
Didn't the remake make $1 billion?
Yeah, the remake.
Yeah, like it made a bill.
Easy.
Easy. It's an easy bill. Like why wouldn't it? And I'm the person that went on the internet who will go on the internet and say that white people need to be in the least amount of things possible, but Beyonce was the worst part of the Lion King movie.
Yes.
Came in there and just put a unnecessary weight on that franchise that, like, I believe was in part so she could sell her eventual it wasn't the Black is King special on there. Like, it had something to do with that, I'm sure, because we know Disney doesn't just sign you for one thing. Ask anyone who's ever done anything with Disney. So it's just interesting from that perspective to think that, like, was it worth it? That's kind of like, I don't know at the end of the day. So I'm interested to see what they do. I hope she does not come back. I would like to see a different musical take on this than the first.
Well, I want to move on, because we got we have Disney Animation and Pixar to get to on
Yeah.
top of Marvel.
Okay.
And Encanto, that was the biggest takeaway from Disney Animation.
I'll be right back.
Let's forget about Zootopia Plus. Let's forget.
Mm-mm.
we were like, and you lost me. Zootopia Plus. No one wanted that. No one asked for that, but you're continuing with it anyways. Yeah.
No, like I totally agree. And Encanto, it's going to be Disney Animation's 60th picture, which is awesome. And it's coming out next fall. Lin-Manuel Miranda's doing music for it, and he's been working on this for years now. So Disney, when my man was still getting his Hamilton bag, like really like still on the production, Disney was like, "Hey, yo, man, like come write Moana for us, come write this music for us." And then while we got you, we got this Colombian picture, and he's like, "Colombian?" And they're like, "Yeah." So you're gonna do freaking Moana and Encanto, and you're gonna make some bomb-ass music, and that's totally what we should expect out of a Lin-Manuel Miranda. Granted, we know none of the cast for Encanto. We still know nothing about this movie, but it just the animation from what we did see looks stellar. I'm expecting this to be the spiritual successor to Coco if we're staying in house. I know it's not Pixar, but still, because the success of Coco to me. It's asking where people are clamoring for more diverse pictures, and I know like Book of Life came out not too long before Coco did, but like Book of Life isn't the best, but Coco really broke that mold. It's like let's be more diverse in our pictures, in our films, and Encanto is going to be Disney's spiritual successor to that. I know Soul is going to be a movie in that vein, just not as not as black compared to how Encanto is going to be extremely Colombian, but still, I got really excited to see Encanto, just a little bit that we did, but to me it was the takeaway. Another thing from the Disney animated thing, because Toby, I don't know if you're excited for Encanto, but Raya and the Last Dragon, it's going to be on the Premiere Access. They're doing the HBO thing. They're doing the HBO thing.
That's the only film they decided to do it with, which I'm
for now. But
there was that. There was also the Baymax show, which when I heard the premise, I kind of got disappointed because I'm like, oh my god, we're getting Big Hero 6 continuation. No, it's Baymax going around and being a nurse. Okay.
And that's Disney Animation's first TV series.
Yeah.
They're going back to San Francisco, and they're gonna do Tiana, the pseudo sequel spin-off show to Princess and the Frog. Moana. Thanks, George. I haven't seen it yet, so I can't comment. But awesome. That's awesome. Like dope. That's what I'm talking about. Like Moana series as well. That's gonna be dope. And these are gonna be musical comedies. Everything's a musical comedy at Disney. Every single thing. But as a Disney stan, like I got really excited for this stuff. Like I love Moana. I love Princess and the Frog, and we're getting more of these different stories with these characters again. Yes, please. Granted, Encanto's going to be this new original movie, but holy hell, these shows are good. These shows are going to be fun too. It's going to be a lot of fun shit going on at Disney.
Yeah.
Anytime we talk about Disney animation on this channel, I always talk about how much I don't care, except for the fact that my niece Avery will have more things to watch because she only watches the same 2 or 3 shows every single weekend, and I just get sick of it really fast. And so the more animation stuff for Disney Plus is better for me because it makes my babysitting a lot easier because I just plop her down on TV and just let her have all her fun.
And just to name drop a couple other things because I know we want to get to the meat that ended the show, but Pinocchio with Bob Zemeckis and Tom Hanks that'll be on Disney Plus.
That was live action. We talked about that. We're on the animation stuff.
We talked about Pinocchio already?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I just blacked out. But no, but Cruella as well. I want to talk about Cruella for a second.
We talked about that too. We mentioned them. We didn't go deep into it.
No, but I can't talk about Cruella for a second. Like we mentioned a lot of shit on this channel. Like let me. Okay, you know what? Forget it. We'll just move on because Matt wants to move on to Marvel. So
no. I wanted to move on to Pixar.
Oh, well, let's move on to Pixar then. By all means, go ahead.
Because, Pixar just had a ton of, well, not a ton, but they had a few good announcements. But one that really came out as to the behest of our very own Taylor Cleek, who, of course, did not write this film. He did years ago, and that is a Buzz Lightyear origin film, the actual film that inspires the toy. You all right, Colin? You all right, Colin?
I feel like this has been something that's been like the first thing out of my girlfriend's mouth was, "Well, Zurg better be in it."
Yeah,
Like I gotta know.
and it has to be Ron Perlman doing the voice.
Has to be, because that was iconic in that video game. I mean, that was just iconic. I gotta see. It's gonna be nice to just see nothing without, a Toy Story story without
being a.
It's gonna be like that Buzz Lightyear animated show, and it's gonna be the bomb.
One of the best animated shows of all time.
I love it so much. Chris Evans is doing the voice, not Tim Allen, because these are two distinct versions of Buzz Lightyear, and Pete Docter made sure to preface that during this stream. And yes, oh my God, Chris Evans as Buzz Lightyear, and we know nothing about this. It comes out in summer of 2022, but just the idea of them doing the person Buzz Lightyear, like the cartoon that the toy was based off of.
I imagine Hal Jordan meets Maverick meets
you're speaking my language. You're really
Star
speaking. This is a love language if I've ever heard it. What the hell you just said to me?
See, and to me it makes sense because Chris Evans, I feel like that would be the Buzz Lightyear, and then Tim Allen's toy version is like what you get with a toy, where it sounds like him, but still sounds like an off-brand version of the actual character you see on screen.
No, yeah, totally. And as I know that not Tom Hanks, we do love Tom Hanks, but Tim Allen, the general public isn't loving him too much, and I saw that a lot on Twitter after this announcement was made. Like, oh yeah, Tim Allen. I'm like, wait a second. It makes sense to recast the character. It's not just them doing it out of spite or out of Tim Allen being in hot water for whatever reason. But this movie rules, and they announced it with that Turning Red movie as well, which also looks like a lot of fun.
Before we move on from Lightyear, it does also set up Chris Evans to be Buzz Lightyear in any future Toy Story movies going forward. It just in years going forward, if they want to do anything, this is just
if they just forego Tim Allen, they just do Chris Evans.
Yeah, this just moves on. This is the thing that we've doomed that they dreaded that they would ever do in Marvel, but they're doing it now in animation, and they're trying to indoctrinate a new generation to hear something a little different.
And it's Chris Evans, so what the hell?
Yeah, screw it. And then I love the transition. That transition of Pete Docter running away from Kevin Feige because he stole Chris Evans was pretty fantastic stuff.
Yes.
No, Toby, I know you don't care about Disney. I know you don't care about life and breathing and water and the other things that we're going to need soon because Disney's going to be injected into our veins by the end of 2022. But come on, I know you love Toy Story, man. And I know you love Chris Evans just as much as I do, in every way possible. Is there any excitement from you in Lightyear, bro? Anything?
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, really. Honestly, I was waiting for us to get to this because we were talking about a lot of stuff that I didn't, particularly care much about. But Lightyear was another big thing that just came out of nowhere, like a Buzz Lightyear show that's not about the Buzz Lightyear we know. This is the actual Buzz Lightyear that the toy is based off of. And to have Chris Evans do it is really cool. And I read his Instagram post about how excited he is to do this movie. He says he can't stop smiling when he thinks about it. And I'm like, wow, they must really have something special here. And I mean, we've talked about the Buzz Lightyear TV show, which is a classic, and I really hope they bring that back somehow. But this is a close. We're gonna get more Buzz Lightyear content. Doing a movie like this with Chris Evans, I think, is the way to go. I do disagree that if they were going to continue to do Toy Story movies, I would still like Tim Allen to voice Buzz Lightyear if possible. Because that's what I grew up on. it's so crazy, Toy Story, because I watched that movie. Actually, my older brother watched that movie when it came out when he was a kid, and then obviously I watched it. And now my niece Avery has Toy Story pajamas, and she's almost 3. Like this Toy Story has just spanned generations already, right? And I really want that to continue. I want to continue to see Toy Story stories done properly, to where, maybe 15 years down the road when Avery is, she's a teenager, she's watching Toy Story movies like I did when I saw Toy Story 3, because I was like 16 when I saw Toy Story 3. So I want to see more of those. But in terms of Buzz Lightyear, I am excited for the movie. Chris Evans doing it. It'll be interesting though. How's Buzz Lightyear, the real character, going to compare to the toy? That's going to be what I'm most curious to see.
Yeah,
I feel like
they get to create
like
that
a real action movie. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like they'll have the opportunity, because I mean you have the animated series as a base, because I think they did Buzz perfectly on that in the animated series from forever ago. But you can really either forego that and not even touch that and make your own Buzz Lightyear, which I kind of want them to do. It's a whole different take on the character aside from the animated series. So do this version of Buzz Lightyear. What Pixar, and I trust Pixar. They can make, cardboard box of the movie. And I'd be like, all right, I'm in, because it's Pixar. And their track record, like they're with a few missteps recently, they make hits like nobody's business. And now that they're expanding this Toy Story universe, which has proven to be banger after banger after banger after banger, now we're getting another one that's a pseudo Toy Story movie. I expect this one to be a banger as well, in the most action, like what Matt said, the action adventure-iest way. So it's hard. It's gonna be so hard. I can't wait.
All right. Well, guys, we're at dessert. And boy, was it the dessert we were hoping we'd get. Chris, you want to start us off?
Where do you begin? Okay. So Marvel Studios ended the stream, at least the content portion of the stream, as they should. And Kevin Feige, we all love Kevin Feige here at Who Are They Real Entertainment. We love Kevin Feige. And he popped up on our screen and he showed us WandaVision to start. And then another trailer and another one and another one. We got a lot of good looks at these shows. So WandaVision, we get that one next month. I think January 15th is the correct or the precise day we get that show, like one episode a week. But my God, WandaVision. Colin, I think you said it best when we were watching it. They're doing House of M. They're going to do their version of House of M, and I cannot freaking wait to see this, especially if it ties into thanks, Allie. Yeah, I keep forgetting where this guy's at. Thank you. We need to cool it, George. But they're doing House of M, and it's going to tie into Doctor Strange.
I think she's going to end up having a little bit of the 1970s bit of their story, which involves Wanda actually like creating twins. She actually creates them and then they disappear because they're not real. And she falls in love with these things that she's created that aren't real and are just figments of her abilities, which are also extremely undefined, which this is going to be a great time to define those powers, because she was the reason Thanos had to rain fire on Earth, because she was breaking him in Endgame. And it just seems that this story is primed to become just this sitcom of madness.
They're gonna make her look crazy as hell.
Yeah.
Like in the first, I don't know when it goes to shit. What's going on, Miguel? I don't know much about the comics, but WandaVision looks sick as hell. Yes, it does. And I don't want this to turn into like, oh, like you gotta go read the comic books, like how Star Wars is.
No,
like,
you don't. But they're really accessible. They're super accessible stories. Yeah. That's the best part of it. They're
and
not.
Marvel
super
does a
deep.
decent job of translating page to screen.
House of M's a little deep though. Like when she's sitting there and like literally says, "No more mutants," and wipes out like 90% of the mutant population.
Yeah, House of M. You need the X-Men for that, and that's not going to happen.
We don't even have the mutants for that.
what's going on, Taylor? But WandaVision, I'm curious in you guys' thoughts on the WandaVision trailer. Toby, I know, again, like you're a Marvel stan just like us, and you weren't watching the stream with us, but I want your 2 cents. I don't think we've talked about WandaVision, if at all, since the show got announced.
There's a reason, because I don't understand what the show is. I've seen 2 trailers. I've heard description after description. I don't know what's happening. Like, why are they in 3 different sitcoms that are in 3 different decades?
Colin, educate
I
this man. You're the
don't
one who does it.
understand.
So-
I want to understand.
Okay, so in the comics, Wanda
Thanks, Taylor.
is Wanda will do whatever she wants to do to satisfy her need to feel normal. But Wanda knows no normal. I just watched Age of Ultron, her and her brother, rest in peace, Quicksilver, who will probably be making appearances in this show through flashbacks, which will be fantastic. Her power has the ability to, I would say, warp reality. The way that Thanos is, I would equate it more to the Reality Stone, the way she's able to just warp the imagination. So, like, when you're seeing, like, there's glimpses of a destroyed house that they're standing in the trailer, but she's projecting the image. This show is going to be Disney's Mr. Robot, where you cannot trust the person telling you this story, and that's going to
definitely have an unreliable narrator.
You will have an
1000%.
extremely unreliable narrator who is misleading you throughout this entire thing. Because how is Vision in this show if he's dead? Like, you can't. That was the one thing they couldn't bring Vision back. That was going to be one of the things that happened before the snap were unfixable. So those are kind of the only rules that we have as of right now. Is that we have to assume that everything is just a figment of her imagination, a projection. It's going to be, Taylor. It's going to be right up Mr. Robot's alley. And you're bringing in one of my favorite comedic character actresses of all time from Step Brothers.
Catherine Hahn. Cleveland
Catherine
native,
Hahn.
baby. If you haven't watched Ms. Fletcher, her HBO miniseries, great show. Great show.
But to put it into layman's terms, Toby, it's going to be Wanda projecting her own reality, multiple different versions of it, and reanimating Vision in the process in her own world. And she's going to be dragging in these different characters into that unknowingly.
Like
we saw that in the trailer.
Monica Rambeau.
Exactly.
Also, we don't know when this takes place. I mean,
Right.
we do
Exactly.
kind of know when it takes place. There could be things that happen at the beginning of the show that are more of a that are in between the timeline of Civil War and Infinity War, because when we find them in Infinity War, where are they? Prague, I believe. Yep. So they're in Prague, and I mean, this could be because the original story is kind of them in New Jersey. They settle outside of New York, and they're just trying to live a normal life, and that's where the idea to create children comes from, because she sees all the people around the neighborhood have children. They all have a life, and she tries to somehow replicate this life. So if we can see an attempt at that, I think it'd be weird. But it's all in her head. Eventually, it's all just going to be in her head, and her leading into Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is what leads me to believe the House of M storyline has something to do with it, where she does something so catastrophic that the Sorcerer Supreme has to come in and be like, honey, you done messed up, and we have to set you right. You have dabbled. What does Tony say? He says, I don't believe we should mangle with metal. Like, we should, or in Age of Ultron, I said something like that, like we got to clash. Like, we got to play. And he's going to say, no, you played a little too hard. You might need to put you in timeout.
And I think that's why we see like the military presence. I'm assuming it's the military, because Wanda's going to be a threat. She's going to almost be like a ticking time bomb, right? Like, while she's creating her own little worlds, her own little sitcoms, and like her own little I Love Lucy's and stuff. Like, she's going to explode at some point. She has to stop because she's so powerful. She's the most powerful being that's not named Captain Marvel, So, and even then, I guarantee she'll probably be as powerful, if not even more so, than Carol by the time this show ends, or even going into Doctor Strange. So this show is going to be just wackiness to start, and then we're going to get into some real shit in the end. And to Colin's point, we will jump. I bet we will jump around in the timeline a little bit, unlike Segway, or the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that will take place directly after the events of Avengers Endgame. And by the way, trailer looks hard, so hard.
That was my favorite. That was probably my favorite trailer of the entire night.
Filmed like 3 hours from where I live. That's so nice.
Like this, it's
It's
showcasing that America. Christian Bale.
Brought it up yet.
We'll get there in a second, but just to give a little synopsis, the world needs Captain America. America needs a symbol of Captain America, and presumably the government makes one. They assign him one. They assign a guy, John Walker,
U.S. agent.
Yes, and Falcon and Winter Soldier are like, this is and there's some other foul play going around.
Can
like
we
it's
talk
sus.
about how that trailer opens up that line? There's a complicated history with that shield. Then this is just me being a keen eye and also me knowing how marketing works. So people don't notice, but that shield is a different shield. That is a completely different shield than Steve Rogers' shield.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that takes a keen eye to notice, and what people is that, and I have a feeling we'll learn this in the show, is that Steve had that shield specifically made for Sam. And we're going to somehow find out about it.
But oh god, I just can't wait for the epic, Sam Wilson being Captain America, because
and
I
Sam
do
Wilson getting his Falcon suit, like the comic accurate suit. Sorry,
it's going to be real action heavy. It's what we expected. If you have a show with the Winter Soldier in it and Falcon, we saw what they were capable of doing in Winter Soldier. We saw what they're capable of doing in Civil War and the subsequent Avengers films. Oh god. I just love how dirty this looks. This looks dirty in all the best ways. And it comes out in March. And Matt, I know we didn't the trailer I don't think gave the date, but March 19th.
No, March
19th.
And you want to know what? Guess what? That lines up perfectly with around the time that WandaVision would end. We're starting to get in that space that they talked about eventually would happen is you're going to have these shows run, and you're going to have no reason to cancel Disney Plus because the shows run, and here's the next show, and here's the next show, and here's the next show, and here's the next show.
And then here's Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. Like the icing on the cake. But, no, Captain America, I don't think it's my favorite, and I think my favorite's one we haven't mentioned yet, just because how weird it is. But, dude, not Cap, Bucky and Sam, and their camaraderie together that we've seen in
What's your
previous
cyborg brain doing, bud? What's it doing over there? Them gears turning? Looks like they're turning. Are you upset? He's
looks like you malfunction.
I hate you, bro. God, I hate you. Yeah, but they're so good together. It's like it's Lethal Weapon. This is Lethal Weapon.
Mm-hmm.
This is Lethal Weapon in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is something that they've done over and over and over again. They've taken tropes that we've loved. It's kind of like Apple.
Yeah.
Marvel's kind of like Apple. They wait. They're like, smartphones were a thing, right? Everybody had smartphones, like, bam, iPhones. Boom, right? And then bam, 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 everybody's got wireless headphones. Bam, AirPods, the best version of all of them. They're like, look, we're waiting for these tropes to come around. Spider-Man, boom, perfected the John Hughes trope, come along, does something in their flavor. This is that buddy cop. We haven't had anything like this. This is a brand new dynamic, something that we haven't explored, and these two are equals. How often have we seen a Marvel property where two characters are considered equals, kind of vying for the same title in a sense? Do we go with the past iteration of the arc where it's Bucky picking up the shield, which is eminent when we see him in Winter Soldier grab it, or do we take on the all new Captain America, where Sam is Captain America, which has a lot of great backstory has a lot of tie-ins with where we are right now in America. In the story where Sam Wilson does become Captain America, the U.S. government does not want him to be Captain America.
The U.S. government not wanting a black man to be a prominent figure and a figure of hope. I digress. But Toby, what were your thoughts on that trailer?
I loved it. This is the show I've been most excited about from the jump, honestly, because Sam and Bucky are two of my favorite characters. Bucky specifically, like I love Bucky so much. And I was a little bit hurt when he didn't get the shield at the end of Endgame. But then the more I thought about it, of course, it made more sense for Sam to get it. But I'm interested to see that dynamic continue because of their relationship in the MCU. I love their relationship in the MCU. One of the most laugh out loud moments in a theater was the "Will you move your seat up?" line from Civil War. Like I died. Like something so simple and such a funny little moment. Like I died after that line. And then the "I hate you" when they're fighting Spider-Man. I love both, and I'm excited to see what's in store for them in the show, and then how it ties into the overall giant story of the MCU.
I think it's the one that we have the most. We have to pay attention to the most in terms of where the overall story is going. And this, and then I think the last 3 episodes of WandaVision leading into Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. These are the 2 properties we have to look at the most. Black Widow is going to tie us back to some stuff and set up the new Black Widow that we are going to get introduced to in this show. Loki is just, I'm looking at it as kind of like Doctor Who meets Legends of Tomorrow. It's time travel. It's timey-wimey. It's woozy-woozy. It's not going to have any lasting effects. It's going to be like an anime movie that's an hour and 20 minutes long that they somehow retcon everything you've just watched, and it doesn't matter leading into the main timeline. This one is important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I keep wanting to say Cap and Winter Soldier. Falcon and Winter Soldier is going to be, I mean, that's Avengers 5 for me right now. Like it's the most important one for me in terms of what I care about most coming out of Endgame.
I wonder how big of a deal it is that we're not getting Black Widow until May. Like, what setup was supposed to be in that movie that might, contradict things in the MCU shows on Disney Plus? I mean, obviously, if that was so important, they wouldn't be putting these shows out before it. But I'm still curious what we're going to see in Black Widow, because, I mean, Endgame was like how long ago? It's been some time since we've seen our friends in the MCU in a movie, and Black Widow was the next one, and we're not going to get that till May. So I'm curious.
Yes.
Thank you, Chris. Very good.
All right, guys, I actually have to depart right now, but Chris, I trust you to finish it out. Maybe depending on how things go, I will come back. So
okay,
I too have to dip out of here. I got
Word.
double duty tomorrow at work, and I'm also
You're good.
show, and I'm probably gonna have to stay up to watch The Mandalorian. So
no doubt about it.
good luck.
Let's do this.
All right.
All right,
You ready,
guys.
Toby?
Have a good night, guys.
Yeah, I'm good.
Word. All right, buddy. You ready?
Shut-ins talk show.
Yeah. Go. This really is the first.
What a throwback.
Besides for Chris's sake, I don't think we haven't been left by our lonesomes on this channel. But either way, we're gonna keep the Marvel talk going because a lot did come out of the Marvel thing. Did y'all talk about Loki while I was gone?
Taylor commented on it, but we didn't discuss it. No.
Well, let's chat Loki then. Loki was my favorite thing out of the trailers that I saw. WandaVision, I'm already stoked for it. I didn't need to watch that trailer. I kind of wish I didn't. Because I want to go into this as blind as possible, even though that show still looks bonkers. Cap Winter Soldier, yes, it's a great first look. I don't need to see any more. I'm sold. And then now Loki, a show I'm not going to front. I wasn't looking forward to this. I didn't think we needed this. I'm like, they're like, oh, it's Loki after he gets the cube. And I'm like, what? Because it was described as like him going on adventures and going through the universe. I'm like, oh, I don't need that. I don't need goofy Loki doing goofy things. And then we got this trailer, and it was nothing like what I thought it was going to be. It was, he got arrested again, and now he's an agent. He's like Agent Loki, doing dirty work for the TVA, but at the same time, he's also he's working for himself. He's a double agent in a sense, but not only for the TVA, but for Loki at the same time. It looks wacky. We get a little bit of Owen Wilson in this. That's awesome. just the Owen Wilson shtick in a Marvel movie or Marvel series I never thought we'd get. And we see him call for Heimdall at the end of the trailer, which is kind of interesting. I have no explanation for it. I can't think of one that would make sense because we don't know where this takes place. If it's still in the Endgame timeline or is it not in the Endgame time? Is this in the multiverse? Are we going to get into this with Doctor Strange? Who the hell knows? But what did you think of the trailer for Loki?
I only watched the trailer once, so I don't remember all the specifics that are in it, but I know I enjoyed it. Like, it looked great. Loki looked great. Owen Wilson was hilarious. But I'm kind of with you, where it hurts my brain to think about how this is going to play into the overall MCU because it's in a different timeline. I think about what what's her name said in Endgame about how to put the stones back where they go, the timeline, correct
the
itself,
ancient
whatever.
one. Yeah,
the ancient one. Yes. So it hurts the little brain of mine to think about that, but I don't want to. I just want to enjoy the trailer and look forward to the show because Loki is one of my favorite characters in all of the MCU. He's brilliant, and he is the god of mischief. So every place that he goes, he's gonna be messing some things up. He's not gonna be living things the way he found them, if that's clear. So
no, exactly.
I'm really excited to see the show and how it ties into maybe Doctor Strange or maybe Thor: Love and Thunder. Like, is Thor gonna find out that his dead brother came back fourth time? Like, is that gonna be a thing? I'm very interested. But yeah, Loki's up there for me. Like, it's Winter Soldier, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then Loki.
I feel like to me it was Buck and Sam, WandaVision, and then Loki. But my favorite thing I saw today was Loki because it took me from like I don't care about the show to now I'm curious. Now you got me intrigued, Marvel, because out of all the stuff, they even showed us a little bit of the What If series with Marvel, how they're going to do all these little one-shot stories of what if T'Challa was taken by Yondu instead of Peter Quill. Like, that's going to be fun. It's going to be this little cute thing that they're going to do. It's going to be not cute at all, actually. It's going to be pretty cool. But the Loki thing, I was not anticipating at all. At all. I'm like, I don't need this. I love Tom Hiddleston as the character, and I'm so glad we're getting more of him. But I don't need this series until... I didn't need the series until we got the trailer. Now I'm like, okay, I get it now. Give me some more. And maybe Doctor Strange can somehow timey-wimey this version of Loki back into the timeline. But again, who the hell knows? This Marvel universe after Doctor Strange it's gonna get messy. It's going to get very, very messy, and we're not gonna know how to handle it.
The thing with Doctor Strange is that no matter what happens in any of these shows, he can just do a little finger thingy and then fix it or mess it up. And that's why like the multiverse of madness is going to be so important. Is what is he going to correct? What is he going to mess up? What is he going to leave the same? So like everything that we watch up to that point, we can't get attached to because it could get messed up in a second.
And like, and is Marvel going to immediately start messing with their timeline after they did the Ultimo messed up timeline with Endgame and Infinity War? Probably not. But Doctor Strange, you never know. You never know. And another thing that came out that wasn't today, but earlier today, or not with the event, but earlier today, Rachel McAdams is going to come back for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And I thought her character was extremely underutilized in the first one, so I'm glad she's coming back. But another fun thing, America Chavez, for all my Marvel fans out there, America Chavez is going to come back, or is going to be in Doctor Strange too. So that's going to be awesome. But we got a lot of teases towards things and confirmations on things like rapid fire. Kevin Feige was just like reading off the cards and tossing them, Shang-Chi got done shooting. Thank God. That movie's going to come out soon. I believe it's July. We got the July confirmation for it. Nothing new that we didn't know. The cast remains the same. All we know is that it got done shooting, and that Marvel's really looking forward to. I believe Kevin Feige referred to it as Shang-Chi, which is actually it's interesting to me because this will be Marvel's first, or I think it's maybe cinema's first Asian-led superhero flick with a predominantly Asian cast with an Asian director. So this movie's gonna be dope. Plus, it's gonna be all martial arty. Hell yeah, hell yeah. The Miss Marvel series, they started shooting that already, because we got to see a little bit of a sizzle reel with the writers and some other directors saying, "Yo, yeah, like Kamala Khan is gonna be the shit." And from all my Marvel fans, again, if you know Kamala Khan, she's gonna be the shit. She's gonna be their Spider-Man, like how Sony has their hands all over our favorite webhead. Marvel will have Kamala to themselves, and Kamala has the potential to be a Spider-Man-esque character within the MCU. At least I think so. And that ties into the fact that she'll be in Captain Marvel 2 with Nia DaCosta directing this thing. She will be the director of the Candyman remake, or Candyman sequel, the remake sequel reboot thing that's coming out next year. But she's going to be in this with Brie Larson and Teyana Paris from the WandaVision series. So they're going to... I love what Captain Marvel and the whole Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel stuff. It's looking great, dude. Like, it's really looking dope.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about Miss Marvel, but I know that I really, really enjoyed Captain Marvel, and I love Brie Larson. Like, she's just the best. But I'm excited to see Captain Marvel have like her own movie, because yes, she had her first movie, but there was a lot of Nick Fury involved in that with the scrolls and all that whole thing. But I want Captain Marvel just to have her own show, like just not show, like run her own movie, if that makes sense.
No, totally.
Having Miss Marvel included, I don't know the connection between the two characters. Honestly, I'm not deep into that stuff. But
all it is, Toby, really all that it is Kamala just idolizes Carol. Like that's
Okay.
really the full extent of. I mean, it's deeper than that, but to put it into layman's terms, it's Kamala just idolizes Carol Danvers, and hence why Miss Marvel, because Carol Danvers used to be in the comic books Miss Marvel until she became Captain Marvel. So that's where the name comes from, all that jazz. So it doesn't get really too much more complicated than that.
Okay, gotcha. See, I was starting to think maybe they were related, or because Marvel isn't really her name; it was her, her teacher's name, or her, her.
Yeah, Marvel. Yeah.
Yeah, Marvel. Yeah. No, that makes sense. So yeah, cool beans.
And I'm glad you mentioned the Nick Fury stuff and the Skrulls from the first Captain Marvel, because now we have Sam Jackson coming back as Nick Fury for his own television series that had been announced. At least Deadline reported this a couple months back. So we're like, what can that be? Could it be Agents of S.W.O.R.D.? Could this be another Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. type show? But no, Kevin Feige's like, y'all stupid. Y'all don't know what you're talking about. Here's Ben Mendelsohn again from Captain Marvel. He's going to come back and play Talos, the lead Skrull, and they're doing Secret Invasion. Ooh. And he had even mentioned in the stream that Secret Invasion, if your name's not Infinity War or Civil War, Secret Invasions, that's the go-to Marvel storyline you think of. It's where the Skrulls come on the Earth and they pose as people and superheroes, and chaos ensues. And I'm assuming there are going to be some rogue Skrulls running around, and they're going to be causing some problems, and Nick Fury and Talos are going to be leading that. And the craziest part is, Kevin Feige emphasized, this will tie into the films. We will start getting some crazy shit. Secret Wars will not end when the series ends. It will end when Marvel decides to end it. So Secret Wars is going to be a jam for a hot second. So the Skrulls, man, everyone thought that when Captain Marvel ended, like, yo, them Skrulls are sus. Now they're super sus. They're real sus now.
Well, we were talking a second ago about Doctor Strange and how we can't get too attached to anything because Doctor Strange could just, mess it all up or fix it or whatever. The Skrulls are the same way, right?
Thing.
Like, we can get attached to a character or to a storyline or a way that something is heading or going in a certain direction, and then, it was a Skrull the whole time.
No. Like, that's what it is, right? Because now, when, like, say for example, we get, I don't know, just anyone like Coulson, right? Agent Coulson. So if he just pops up again, like, oh, yo, it's Coulson, that's dope. Oh, I'm a Skrull. Like, it's like that. Yeah. That's what we can expect going forward. Like, once the series drops and we fully establish how the Skrulls are infiltrating Earth, then we'll have a better sense of how this can play out in the movies. But another show that Kevin Feige had mentioned that will tie into the films, and I can't believe they announced this so nonchalantly. It's Ironheart. It's Riri Williams. For those who don't know, Riri Williams is the spiritual successor to Iron Man, hence the name Ironheart. And she's relatively new in Marvel Comics, so I'm surprised they're doing something with her so soon. But she's the first person to really master that suits like that since Tony Stark, and that's her claim to fame. Hence why she becomes Ironheart, and she will be featured in the movies as well. So for all my Iron Man fans out there, you know, like, oh man, like Tony Stark, like I'm gonna miss him so much. So will I. But now Iron Man is a lady, and she's black. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be really cool that she starts off as a TV series. I'm glad Marvel's doing this. They're not as established characters, not as well-known characters. They're giving them TV shows first, so they can find their footing and then introduce them into the movies, instead of giving Ironheart her own movie and people being like, "Oh, that's not Iron Man." It's like I don't want that. I don't want to hear that. Let Riri be Riri, and she'll do her own thing, like 1000%. And shout out to Taylor in the chat. Big pop for Secret Invasion. You damn right. It's gonna be crazy. Miguel as well saying, "I'm shocked they're doing Secret Invasion as a Disney Plus show." Yes, 1,000,000,000%, but it will tie into the movies. Taylor saying, "Gotta be getting Super Skrull, right?" We'll get there, because the Super Skrull is tied to a certain, first family, but we'll get there when we get there. So don't jump the gun too far ahead, Taylor. But I know, Toby, you have literally no affiliation to Ironheart at all. But does a show like this appease to you? If it's like an Iron Man-esque show, but it's not Tony Stark, and she has no ties to Tony Stark that we know of?
Yes, I am excited for the show, but at the same time, I wish we would have had a little bit more time to mourn, Tony.
Yeah, and we don't know when the show's coming out. We don't know.
Yeah, that's very true. But like, he's the one that started this whole thing. Like, we've been on this journey with Tony this whole time, and like, I still can't believe he's gone. Like, I know the Endgame came out, 2 years ago almost now, but like the fact that the guy who's been the head honcho of the Avengers and of the MCU, this whole thing is gone, and now we've already found a replacement, right? But that being said, I've heard good things about the Ironheart character in the comic series, and the fact she's black and a woman is great. That's important. Another thing, which we'll get to a little bit here in a second, but War Machine. I was hoping we would get, maybe have War Machine have an opportunity to be the main, guy in the suit for our Avengers going forward. But it seems like he's gonna have his hands tied, because his whether it be his armor or just Tony's his weapons in general are gonna be falling into some bad guys' hands. So I guess we could probably talk about Armor Wars now, because that's gonna be fun. Which is another one I did not expect. Did not even for a second think we were getting anything from War Machine at all. I thought he was gonna be kind of on the side until we got to the next big Avengers movie, whenever that is. But he's getting his own show just like everybody is.
And what Toby's talking about is the show Armor Wars. Terrible title, but it answers the question of what happens when Tony's tech, the age-old question that we obviously haven't seen answered in Marvel movies before, right, Toby? Where Tony's tech goes wrong,
right?
But now his suit technology, obviously, has been on an international platform, and people are going to try and mimic it, and they're going to try and take it. In some cases, they may take it, and we're going to see what happens when it gets into the wrong hands. That's legitimately all we know about this show. Don Cheadle will come back to play Rhodey, which is awesome. And I'm not gonna say Rhodey will not be in Ironheart. He should be. And I mean, if anyone's gonna pass the baton since Tony's not here of Iron Man to Ironheart, it should be Rhodey. And it can be beautiful if done correctly. And Marvel, in my opinion, they do a lot of things correctly. So I think they'll pass the baton seamlessly. But that Iron Wars show came out of nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. Again, we have no idea when we're going to get it. But another show that's tied to Tony Stark. Because, he's the guy that started it all. Doesn't matter how you feel about Iron Man. He will forever be linked with these characters. Because that's that's the importance of Iron Man. People forget that sometimes, myself included. And then another thing that we should point out is Black Panther 2. They acknowledged what was going on with Black Panther 2. July of 2022. Ryan Coogler is hard at work making this movie because of the unfortunate passing of Chadwick Boseman in August. It was a real blow, not only to Marvel fans and to movie fans, but I feel like just to pop culture in general, like to the culture in general. And it was a tragic loss. And at the time, people were like, what's going to happen with Black Panther 2? But that was too soon, you know? Like, it was just, who cares about Black Panther 2? Chadwick Boseman just passed away. And Kevin Feige took the time to honor Chadwick Boseman the way he should have. And he acknowledged Black Panther 2. They will not recast the character, which, I mean, was an assumption that we all had, because that would have been one hell of a recast, you know? But not going to recast him. And he made sure to emphasize that it's going to be focusing on the other characters that we met in the first film, which you can hypothesize whatever you want. You can speculate whatever you want, whether it's Killmonger coming back in some way, shape, or form, or Shuri taking the reins, or whoever. But the main takeaway is they're moving forward. This movie's still going to come out without Chadwick Boseman and probably without T'Challa. And how they're going to acknowledge that if he's not around, and how they're going to explain that he's not around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is something I didn't expect us to hear about because it's still so fresh, right?
Less than 4 months ago.
Yeah, and on top of the fact that Letitia Wright has made some comments on social media that have been pretty problematic. So I really did not expect to hear anything about this movie. I respect the decision for them to not recast. I think it's the right decision. Yes. But I have no idea what they're going to do with this movie. And honestly, I don't want to think about it because we have all this other great content to talk about. Black Panther 2, we'll get there. We get there. Let them take their time, figure it out. And then, you know, when it comes out, we can pay our respects to Chadwick. Hopefully it'll be a love letter to Chadwick because that's what he deserves because he is Black Panther.
Exactly. And yeah, as much as we can speculate on what's going to happen, what I do want is exactly what they're doing. They're not leaving Wakanda behind. Like Black Panther left such a footprint in these Marvel movies. You can't just ignore Wakanda for the rest of time. And I'm so glad they're not doing that. And hopefully they can find a way to continue that Black Panther legacy without having to recast, or they're not going to, but without having to acknowledge T'Challa, like, and properly pass the torch from Black Panther to Black Panther, however they're going to do it. And the last movie, last big, I shouldn't say the last one. One of the other big ones was the Ant-Man threequel. We're getting Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. I want to make sure I say that right. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. And we will see some returning characters, you know, Paul Rudd as Scott Lang, Evangeline Lilly as Hope Van Dyne, Michael Douglas as Hank Pym, and Michelle Pfeiffer as I'm forgetting her name. She's the other Van Dyne. She's the OG Wasp. I'm forgetting her name. Oh my god, I'm so embarrassed. But the wait, she's Hope. No. Oh my god, I'm not even gonna think about it.
Mrs. Wasp. Yes.
Yes, we will refer to her as Mrs. Wasp. And if someone in the chat can correct me, please do so. Quantumania is running wild, brother. We can't forget that. These other comments, I do want to acknowledge these real quick. Taylor says, still wondering if they plan to introduce Namor and Atlantis in Black Panther 2, as was the rumor. Maybe. Introduce Namor. I'm curious to see how Coogler does Black Panther 2, 1000%. And I don't mean to sound so cold, but they should have recasted. No, they should not have. As crazy as that sounds, right? Because usually that's the typical move to recast the character, you know? Mm-hmm. And we've seen that before. Right. But I think with the weight that Black Panther had, it was greater than Marvel. It's greater than us coming on things like this and talking about the movies. It's bigger than that. And you can't say that for Ant-Man. You can't say that for Falcon, Winter Soldier. And all the actors knew how much weight Chadwick Boseman had to carry while being Black Panther for these last few years since we saw him in Civil War. So recasting, oh God. it would have been a PR nightmare to explain why you recast it.
This was not a Terrence Howard situation where he they just couldn't make terms or whatever. Like this is a lot. I mean, on top of the fact that Chadwick passed away, on top of the fact that this is Black Panther, we're talking about that film was so culturally relevant. It got nominated for an Oscar.
Best
Oscar
Picture.
So much going into this story. I don't think you could simply just recast the character. But what I do think they will end up doing, I already said it, I didn't want to speculate, but I do think they're going to bring Killmonger back somehow. That's my prediction.
And I mean, we can talk for another hour on Killmonger coming back, but I wouldn't be surprised if Michael B. Jordan gets a phone call. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But to go to Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, brother. Taylor asked in the chat, is Peyton Reed the first MCU director to direct an entire proper trilogy in the franchise? Yes. Yes, he is. Unless we're counting John Watt doing Spider-Man first, because that will come out before Peyton Reed. But since that's Sony, technically, so technically it's John Watts, but Peyton Reed, the first proper in Disney in-house director to come back and do all 3 movies. But I mean, holy hell. Yeah. And it's still killing me. I got to look up that name of Michelle Pfeiffer, but what they're doing is they recasted Cassie Lang. It's not the same actress from Endgame. It's going to be, Catherine Newton, who we just saw in Freaky that came out a couple months ago. And, we got the confirmation. Jonathan Majors, who just, blew up on the scene with Lovecraft Country. He's going to be Kang the Conqueror. And for all my marks out there that know Marvel, Kang the Conqueror that's your Thanos. That's your next one. That's your next Thanos. It's Kang the Conqueror, as it should be. Shout out to Taylor in the chat. John Watt did do Spider-Man. He will be done with Spider-Man first. And oh shit, really? I didn't catch the recast news. Yes. And I haven't seen Freaky yet. I do want to see it though, and I heard she's great in it. But Jonathan Majors, he's continuing his reign of terror. I shouldn't say reign of terror. He's on a hot streak after Lovecraft Country, and doing Kang the Conqueror for your big This is one hell of a villain for an Ant-Man movie, honestly, because Kang the Conqueror, he's from the future. He's a long descendant of Reed Richards, which I don't know if they'll go into that part of the character, but oh my god, they're doing Kang, and this is your next one. He may not be as big as Thanos, but damn close. To me, he could be,
And how interesting, because Ant-Man movies have always been kind of like just a fun side mission, like they're not like super duper into the big overall story.
Janet Van Dyne, Janet, thank you. Google, continue, please.
No, like I enjoy the Ant-Man movie, but I think I only saw the second one maybe twice. Like I haven't really gone back to it. Like it's good, like I enjoy it. But the villains in the Ant-Man movies are typically C-list villains, right? Like he's not going up against someone who's super intimidating. But Kang the Conqueror, are you kidding me?
Kang.
Like that's the one. So we keep talking about how all these things are going to connect eventually, all these shows and these miniseries and these movies. So is Kang going to be the next big villain? I hope not, because Fantastic Four, Doctor Doom, Doom.
Don't jump the gun. That's the last thing.
But I've been saying since Endgame that I want Doctor Doom to be the next big bad villain that all our heroes go up against in one big giant, film or whatever they're gonna do. But Kang the Conqueror, man, that's a tease right there. And for it to be in an Ant-Man movie, that's very, very interesting.
It's one hell of a tease. And yes, the casting did get reported not too long ago, but we were still like, really? Kang the Conqueror from the future? Like the distant future? In the Ant-Man movie? The one that just got done fighting a character called Ghost and Yellow Jacket? Like, let's cool it just a little bit, okay? But no, this could be your Ultron, like your big Avengers villain, but he only sticks around for one movie. Who knows? But to me, this is a big deal. This is This could be your Thanos. It could be if you really wanted it to be. But they're doing Secret Invasion. So how the hell is that weave into Kang the Conqueror, and then you're doing like you're doing the Doctor Strange stuff, so you might see some other people pop up, and Loki's still around. Like, who knows? Who the hell knows? But there are a few things we missed out on smaller scale before we end with the big news, right? That you and Taylor have teased right now. So a couple things. Tatiana Maslany confirmed to do She-Hulk. After she was like, no, that ain't it. Yes, it is. And Mark Ruffalo will be appearing in the series as well for She-Hulk for Jennifer Walters. That's awesome. And probably the shock of the night, that's not the big movie news that we saw to end the little panel, was Tim Roth is coming back to be Abomination in She-Hulk. What the hell? What the hell? The first character to come back from The Incredible Hulk.
When was the last time you watched The Incredible Hulk?
Oh, God. Oh, shit.
I can't even tell you.
5-6 years ago?
I can't tell you. Like,
It was before I went to college, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's probably been about that long for me too. I'm so curious the decision to bring him back.
Mhm.
Like, why? Like, what is the move with him? Because does he die at the end, or does he not? Like, I don't even remember.
He gets taken away. He gets like captured, or he gets arrested, but he doesn't die.
And doesn't the scientist guy, doesn't he get
The leader, who we presume will turn out to be the leader, yes, he's still alive as well.
okay? So he'll probably pop up at some point, right? Like,
If
yeah,
this show
I think
gets
so.
super hulky, I'm gonna love it, bro.
Yes,
Because the
yes.
Hulk has a lot of other side characters that Marvel probably would have never touched 10 years ago. But now that the character's so beloved, it's Mark Ruffalo now, and they're doing Tatiana Maslany with Jennifer Walters. Like, this show's gonna be funny as hell, and then Abomination's gonna show up and ruin it. And another thing Feige had mentioned was like Jen's a lawyer. Jennifer Walters is a lawyer, so we might see some other DC or Marvel characters pop up, and she might defend them because apparently, according to rumors on the internet, she's not defending Spider-Man because another Marvel lawyer is. But in this case, on her own show, hell yeah, dude, She-Hulk's the bomb. God bless America, but I second your point. How the hell does Abomination fit into this? How? On what earth? Is that Jen's big boss at the end of the season? Like, she has to fight Abomination? But what the hell? Like, Jen's like 6'7", and she still wears clothes. Like, unlike the Hulk, where it's just like this freaking monster. And like, oh God. She-Hulk's gonna be so good. I can't wait for it. Although some of the pictures that leaked from set the last week or so, we got official confirmation that Haley Steinfeld will be Kate Bishop in the Hawkeye series, that Jeremy Renner is leading, which I presume will be his swan song. I think this will be one of the last times we see Hawkeye as an Avenger, and it'll be on his own series, a la Black Widow in her movie. But Haley Steinfeld, hell yeah, Academy Award nominee Haley Steinfeld.
We've known about this for a while, but to have it confirmed is great. I loved her in Edge of 17, Bumblebee. I think she's gonna be the next big thing when it comes to actors in Hollywood. Like, she's gonna be in everything in the next few years. And she's young, so she can grow into this character. She can grow in this world. She will probably replace Hawkeye at some point. Probably by the end of the show, she'll be the next.
Yeah.
She'll be the bow and arrow girl for our Avengers, or again, whatever we decide to call the new Avengers, whatever. But yeah, very, very stoked to have her join the party.
And we also got to see we were reminded about the Eternals. We didn't get to see anything, but we were like, yo, this movie's next November. Stay excited because the cast is nuts. And yes, the cast still is crazy. But I hope I'm not forgetting anything besides the one piece of big news. But I mean, we're almost at 2 hours. I think this is a good place to stop. So let's talk about the last thing that Kevin Feige announced. Just when you thought that after this incredible showcase of content from Lucasfilm, National Geographic, yes, they had some great stuff. We didn't talk about them on this show, but they had some fun stuff too. Disney, Pixar, all that stuff, Marvel. Kevin Feige was like, you know what? Not in the most nonchalant way possible. He announced a film that will feature Marvel's first family, and it's the Fantastic Four, a movie that people have been clamoring for since the train wreck that was 2015's Fanforstic. And we got a director announcement as well. It'll be the main man, John Watt, of Spider-Man fame. My God, it's Fantastic Four.
So
I'm really holding
thoughts.
back right now. I'm holding back on Fantastic Four. I really am.
So many thoughts.
But
I mean,
quick thing before you begin, Taylor. Did they announce new Jeff Goldblum content? No, they're wasting your time. It's Chris Hemsworth this time. But go ahead. Please, Toby, begin to unpackage the little that we know about Fantastic Four.
I mean, we can throw this in the bag of things that we knew we were going to get eventually. Like,
Yes.
At the last big Marvel panel thing, he teased, that we will get it eventually. Like, this is happening. We know, right? But we kept making our fan cast of who do we want to play. Our Fantastic Four. We still don't know yet. And I'm sure we're going to keep having that conversation until we finally figure out who's going to be in it. But John Watts, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Keep him in the family, right? Like, I hope that they do with him like what they did with the Russo brothers, where the Russo brothers were just, the Captain America guys, and then they ended up running the whole thing to the very end. John Watts could be that guy, right? Like, if he's going to do Fantastic Four, if he's going to start their first movie, guarantee he'll be there for the sequel. Guarantee you he'll be there for the third one. That'll eventually tie into the big team-up movies. Like, I really do think he's that guy, and that's really exciting. But to have confirmation is awesome. And since John Watts is doing it, how is Spider-Man going to play into the Fantastic Four?
He's no stranger. No stranger.
It's so hard to have that conversation, though, because of Sony MCU's deal. We still don't know exactly what that looks like. I know that they came together for one final film, that Spidey was going to be in the MCU, and then go back to Sony, and they're going to do things with him, with, the Venom thing or whatever. But then we hear, Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire might be coming in. So there's just so many things going on. It's really hard to kind of predict what their game plan is. But I honestly don't want to. Like, let's just, get over the excitement that this is official. We got it. Fantastic Four is happening, and it's finally going to be done properly. I enjoy the first Fantastic Four film all the way back, 2002 or whatever.
2007.
I like that. 2007. See, when we've had so many bad ones.
We've had 3, technically 4.
Yeah. It's hard to remember when these things came out. But anyway, we're going to have it done properly. It's going to be in the MCU with all our friends. And, oh boy, I'm so stoked. And it could, again, John Watt Spider-Man, the Baxter Building could have been teased in Far From Home. You never know.
I've been saying that for years, that the old Stark Tower is going to be the Baxter Building. And this further solidifies that, in my opinion. But I can speculate about that movie all day. I do want to mention at 3:35 today, I did say, and I quote, "I really hope right off the bat Disney hits us with the Fantastic Four are coming in 2023." And little did I know that was going to end the panel. So I don't want to say I called it, but
nope.
But yes,
you didn't. You're wrong. You guessed it wrong. Sorry.
I was halfway there. I had a feeling about Fantastic Four today. So, Fantastic Four. Once Disney bought Fox, everyone said in unison, "Give us
X-Men.
Fantastic Four." Oh, wait, what? No. God, no. No, not yet. We can wait on X-Men for like another decade. Like, they're not going to, but we can wait. The Fantastic Four. That's the one that we haven't gotten perfect yet. We gotten damn close. I don't care what anyone says about that first Jessica Alba, Tim Story one. I like it a lot. And that's the closest we've gotten to the Fantastic Four on film. Now, you have the guy that's done Spider-Man doing this one. Okay. I screamed when I saw Fantastic Four pop up. When he said family, I screamed. Because I said, yes, like we finally got the Fantastic Four, and I love the Fantastic Four so much. Like Sue Storm, Johnny Storm, Ben Grimm, and Reed Richards were some of the best characters that Marvel's ever put out, and like it bums me out that Stan won't. He's not around to see this, but like he's going to see his creations done properly, like on film, because Kevin Feige cares so much about these characters, and John Watt has done such a great job with Spider-Man. I'm sorry, but I hate to be that guy. I don't care what you think of this Tom Holland Spider-Man. He's the best one we've gotten so far. Toby is great for different reasons. Andrew's great for different reasons. Tom is perfect. To mention in the chat, Miguel, he thought the Stark Tower building was going to be Oscorp. Another great theory. If it's not the Baxter building, I would like it to be Oscorp. Taylor, big question. Who do we want in the cast? I can be here all night talking about the cast. George says, go to bed. We will after we get them talking Fantastic Four. But John Watt did such a good job with Spider-Man that I think he's going to do a killer job with Fantastic Four. That being said, he was not my first choice. I wanted Peyton Reed. I think that was the popular consensus on the internet, that Peyton Reed, a guy who's actively spoken out about the Fantastic Four. I still have that George Thomas thing in the bottom of the screen as a night reminder, that we've been here all night already. Yes, George, we have. We are not going to do a clean clique. Give us 5 more minutes. But Fantastic Four, we're getting it. That's the big thing. You could have had Chris Anthony Lopez direct it. We're getting a Fantastic Four movie, and that's what matters to me, with Kevin Feige leading the charge on this. I don't want to speculate on cast, because then I'll gush about John Krasinski, Emily Blunt, Zac Efron, and Seth Rogen the whole time as my perfect Fantastic Four cast. Did I just say that out loud? But we're getting this. We don't know when it's coming out. It's probably going to be John Watt's first project post Spider-Man that we know of, and that movie comes out next winter. So 2023. Did I guess the damn year? And I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but 2023 sounds like the perfect time for Fantastic Four. And to go back to Taylor's point earlier, I want to find the comment exactly, because when we were talking about the Secret Invasion, and by the way, thank you, Taylor. I like that cast too. But my man had mentioned, come on now, you just want to be a buzzkill? Want to kill my vibe?
No, the Seth Rogen one, I don't.
Oh, I mean that's my iffy. I can work with Seth. We can work with that. But Super Skrull. For those who don't know, Super Skrull has been a Fantastic Four villain for many a year. And now that we're getting the Fantastic Four, the Skrulls have been so tied to them for decades that it seems like the perfect time to do it. Hence why Secret Invasion makes so much sense with the Fantastic Four coming. So, again, I could be here for another hour talking Fantastic Four. But Toby, to your point about the future of Spider-Man and how could Spider-Man, could he be in this movie? Could he make an appearance? When they negotiated that new deal to give Tom Holland that Spider-Man 3 and that one team-up movie, this might be it. Like, this might be that team-up movie that was talked about a year and a half ago at this point. That, it may not be an Avengers movie. He may not pop up in Doctor Strange. He may be in Fantastic Four, because the Webhead was a member of the Fantastic Four at one point. So was Jen Walters, She-Hulk. So a lot of these characters have ties to Fantastic Four, and now we get to see them in all their glory on our movie screens, our theater screens, hopefully, come that time. But Toby, now as we begin to wrap, quick thing. Oh shit. Yeah, who's Doom? Who's gonna be Doom? Idris Elba.
That's
the first thing that popped into my head.
That's not bad. I haven't put a lot of thought into that, honestly. About
neither have I.
That's too big of a task, because it's got to be. They got Josh Brolin for Thanos, and it was perfect. And
I know you mentioned Doom earlier when I was talking about Kang. How Doom is your next big villain. Yes. Oh, they did use Idris. He was Heimdall. What a waste!
Oh, right.
God bless America. Another black guy. Who the hell could be Doctor Doom? Oh man,
Adam Driver.
Boom, did it right there, Adam Driver. I second that notion. Oh god, it's perfect. Okay, Miguel in the chat. I'd be shocked if Krasinski and Blunt don't get it. Feige can't ignore the fan cast. You're right, but at the same time, they've nailed it so far, and the fans have not said shit about the castings. We love Adam Driver in a cloak and mask. Yes, we do. I'm sad they've used Mads Mikkelsen. He would have killed it as Doom. Oh, he was in Thor 2. Again, what a waste. Thoughts on She-Hulk? Quickly, one more time, since you just joined us. Thank you, by the way, for watching. It's going to be awesome. Abomination, what the hell is he doing there? But Jen Walters is going to be a great addition to the MCU. She will be a fantastic addition to the MCU. And he even went as far as saying that She-Hulk is his favorite because of Abomination and Hulk, which I totally agree. Like, I mean, it's going to be a kick-ass show. But I'm pissed they used Idris. I forgot about that. Could we possibly see Hulk v Abomination rematch on a series? That'd be cool. It may be a She-Hulk v Abomination though. That's my thing. Zeno, hope I said your name right. But Adam Driver, I like that fan cast. Quick, Toby, before we bounce, give me your Ben Grimm.
Shia LaBeouf.
Different. And I like it. If they do Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight, then yes, I'll do Shia LaBeouf for Ben Grimm. But if Oscar Isaac doesn't do Moon Knight, I want Shia as Moon Knight.
I just want Shia in the I want Shia in the MCU.
I think it's time.
And I think you could do a super weird Ben Grimm. I think that would be cool.
Yeah. Shia would be a good Johnny Storm too. Yeah, he could. I mean, I just said I've been saying these names like Toby. I remember us going to Star Wars Celebration, and I told you that exact cast list. We've been talking Fantastic Four for a year and a half, right?
Yep.
That's how much Fantastic Four has been on my brain. But shout out to Zeno in the chat again. Mark Ruffalo's story. He said Hulk in red or green. I would like to see Red Hulk also. That's William Hurt.
Pump the brakes.
That's General Ross though. If you want to make him a Hulk, I don't know how you can do that, but totally possible. We already got the character in the MCU. But to wrap, Toby, in summation, what did you think of the announcements we got today?
You talking about all of them, like Star included?
How do you feel post announcements? How do you feel about all this crazy stuff that we just talked about?
So this year has just been ass. And I mean, we could talk about that in another time, but it's so nice to have content that you can look forward to, that gets you excited, to watch, right? Like Mandalorian, for example. Like I look forward to Mandalorian every single Friday, Monday all the way to Thursday night. Like I get so excited to watch it, and it makes me happy the next day to be able to watch the show and talk about it with my friends, and to have that included with all this other amazing content we're getting, to something to look forward to, that you can nerd out with your friends and talk about. And it just expanding, right? Like Star Wars universe used to be so small, right? Just 6 movies, that was it. Now we just announced 10 shows today. The MCU used to be so small. It was Iron Man 1 and 2, and then Iron Man 2 kicked it off, and now look where we're at, right? Like these movies have started YouTube channels and blogs and websites, magazines. Like, and it's just so much fun, no matter what side of the fence you're on, to talk about them and enjoy them. And when we have bad years like this, it's nice to have something that can be a distraction. And I love being distracted by superheroes and space wizards. It just makes me happy. And this day, Bob Iger Con, Uncle Bob Con, whatever you want to call it, so much fun. And I really enjoyed it. It was different. But to be able to do a live stream like this for 2 hours now, it's all worth it. It really is all worth it to just be able to enjoy it with your friends and talk about it.
I couldn't have said it any better myself. 2020 has been a train wreck. And I mentioned this in the pre-show as well. Before we went live, Comic-Con at home was a disaster. DC Fandom perfected the standalone convention of sorts, live stream of your materials. But Disney blew all this out of the water. I even told you before, I saw a tweet on Twitter saying like HBO Max, they announced their things about movies knowing that Disney was coming. So that's how much of a threat Disney is. And I put my name as the brainwashed because I am brainwashed. I'm such a shill for Disney. Like everything that I saw today got me jazzed. And I know we skipped over some things that I was super jazzed about as well, because there's so much great content coming out on Disney Plus in theaters, hopefully soon. But I loved a lot of the things that we got today. There are a few things where I'm like, nah. It's like, do we need that? I'm out here doing like De Niro, like, nah. But Star Wars just opening up that universe more so than a Skywalker or the Empire or the Republic. It's getting bigger than that. Marvel, post Endgame, you needed to hit the ground running. That's exactly what they're doing. Disney, right? They're still finding ways to be imaginative and being more inclusive. Like George said in the chat not too long ago, Soul is very black. Like I'm excited to see Soul on Christmas. Encanto became one of my most anticipated movies of last year off a 30-second clip that had no cast and no music in it. Little to no music. Like this presentation was done to perfection. 4 hours of my life gone. Now 6 plus, talking about all this crazy stuff. But at the same time, this is when I tell people that I like movies. This is what I'm talking about. So, God, today was just so dope, and I will not stop thinking about it tomorrow. In between my Kid Cudi Man on the Moon 3 listens. But with that being said, thank you so much to everyone that's joined us. Everyone in the chat, Miguel, it's Zeno. I'm sorry that we couldn't talk too much about She-Hulk, but we did that a little bit earlier in the live stream. Taylor, George, everyone that's watched, everyone that's joined, that's liked this stuff, shared it. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate it. Thank you to Colin for coming on one more time. Matt for being here for as long as he could, as he pops back into the chat. But this has been a lot of fun. It's been Matt. In 4 words, tell me your thoughts on Fantastic Four.
Finally here.
I'll take 2. But no, seriously. Thanks to everyone that watched and who participated in the chat. Really do appreciate it. For Matt Thomas and for the bad bitch, Toby Barkwell. My name is Chris Anthony Lopez, and go check out our stream, our audio portions. Krampus. Taylor talked about Krampus for our audio portions as well. Who Are They? Real Entertainment, wherever you find your podcasts. So again, for my main mans right here, I'm Chris Anthony Lopez, and this was another Who Are They? Real Entertainment production.